Phew. Okay, throwing up a link. All right. Oh. Yep. Stuff. Cool. Things. I might as well fire up a new project and get it going here. And have a little bit more coffee. Hey, Bobby. Yeah, this is actually a stream for my 8th grade students. I have them doing a project, and a lot of people are very baffled and confused. So you might not get a whole lot out of this. This is a very specific thing. So I'll do another one this evening at 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. I know it's stupidly early for the most part, but I get up about 7 every day. I have 6 unsaved tracks. Here goes number 7. Okay, well I can always backtrack. This is not a horribly difficult thing. So if you're watching, all right. So let's get this party started here. All right. The biggest thing that I got from people over the last couple of days was that they couldn't find these samples, and I find that a little bit offensive because that means you literally didn't search at all. Because, well, yeah. The trick that I found though is just to search for the first few letters because their search engine in their samples is not not good at all. Okay, so go to samples, pew, there it is. I would also suggest going to all. Okay, and as soon as I type in FHP, bam, there's my whole list. And the first one, this is what we want. Okay, so drag it in. There it is. Right. So yeah, these samples are there. They exist. What's this about? That's new. Oh, not connected to output. Oh, that's cool. Little signs, little symbols, not connected to output. Oh, it doesn't get any audio because ain't nothing connected to it. All right. So then we just read the directions and extend it to measures 1 through 4. Okay. So yoink. There. Route the audio track through a Rasselbach, then to Centroid Channel 1. Add a pattern track for the Rasselbach. Set the snapping grid to 1/16. That's multiple things. So devices, Rasselbach, splat. Here is the thing on the Rasselbach. We hadn't really talked about this too much, but you have to be very, very careful where you hook things up. Because you have 6 different outputs. 6 different outputs. Hey, it's amazing. And you want to use this one. That's the regular out. Okay. Otherwise, why 1 through 5? Well, because here we can actually schedule or sort of like force our sound to go to these different outputs. Why you would want to do that? Well, maybe they have different effects on them, stuff like that, which could be a cool effect. All right. So, but for us, we really don't use that stuff at all. You just want to do that. And then set the snapping grid to 1/16. There. Right. So, pattern A1 should be 6 boxes of shuffle, 4 boxes of shuffle, then 6 more boxes of shuffle. Click drag to fill in boxes rather than clicking individual boxes. So, we have patterns A1 through 8, and then A, B, C, D. So we have 32 patterns. So you look at shuffle, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4, and then 6 more, like a so. Okay, that is that's the key to using this thing. Why click drag? Because every time it encounters the start of a box, it will restart that effect. Okay, so let me also create a pattern track. Boink. And then pattern track created. Now we double click down here to enable that pattern. Okay. So here's the difference. If I clicked individually all the way across here, here's how it sounds. It sounds exactly the same. Okay. Now, if I do 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 4, and then 6 more, here's how it sounds. Right? Way different. So we're going to have pattern 1, A1, A2, A3, A4, 1 measure each. A2 should be reverse for 4 boxes, 6 boxes, then 2 boxes. So 4, 4, 6, 2. But first you got to switch it to pattern A2. 4, 4, 6, and then 2. And then plop down A2. Okay, pattern A3. Gate for beat 1, that's 4 boxes. Stutter for beat 2, gate, and then stop. So gate, stutter, gate, stop for A3. So gate, stutter, gate, stop. And that'll sound like so. And then at the end it goes A4 should be shuffle, reverse, shuffle, and then speed and scratch. So A4, shuffle, reverse, shuffle, and then speed and scratch. Double check and make sure that's right. Shuffle, reverse, shuffle. Yeah, okay. Now, I purposely changed up the terminology in there so that it would confuse people or make them think. Unfortunately, I think people tend to just give up. Like that. The whole thing should sound. There it is. There's the first chunk. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Everybody's project should sound exactly the same. That's the thing. If you follow directions super duper carefully, it should be, you know, exactly the same. There's this. All right. Now I might be going fast, but you can always go back and review this later on. That's fine. So JW120G Cuban 2, you know, again, I searched for Cuban and nothing came up, which I thought was sort of funny. But as soon as I searched for JW, like, it popped up. So samples tab, exactly the same kind of thing. Okay, and just search for JW, and there they are. So there's the Cuban samples. There's the one. That's the one that we're looking for. All right. So let's grab that, throw it in there. Oh, we need Cuban 1. I got Cuban 2. How dare I? Are these the same? Oh, one was G, one was D. That's right. Okay, so we need the G one. That's right. There's this one. All right, so that guy. Now this is going to go over here for our next 4 measures. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Again, if you could not find the samples, then I have to say you partially gave up. All right. But I did upload a response to those questions of, like, just search for the first couple of letters. For the last one, if you search for FHP, it comes right up. For this one, if you search, and this is under all, by the way, what's funny is if you go under here, and these are all 120, and the other day I searched for FHP under loops. There it is again. The other day, though, I did this and nothing came up. So I don't, Audiotool, I'm sure, is having issues with internet usage and stuff. People being at home and, like, taxing their site. So a little bit of patience. I mean, you have the week for this. So there's the thing. Have it play for measure. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. 5 to 8. Connect it to a phaser pedal, and then turn off the phaser. Okay. Because we want to manually or automatically trigger it. So turn it off, click the big black thing, right? And then, like so. Set up an automation track for phaser active. Make a region for measure 5 and measure 7. Okay, this is the tricky thing. This is not something that we did a lot in class. So first of all, this is the active, inactive. We want to right click this and go to automate parameter. Okay, you just got to make sure that it's actually on the switch right here. All right, and then it pops up, and here's our thing. Okay, here's our track. So what we want to do is to turn it on here, and then here. And how do we do this? Well, double click it again to open it up. And then what we're going to do is double click and add a point up here, and then we're going to add another point here. Okay, so this is like the switch. As soon as it hits this point, it turns on, and then over here, it turns off again. Okay, and then what we can do is just simply take this thing and move it over while holding control, and then it's over here also. We just duplicated it. Listen to it. Right. So did I get that reversed? Yeah, I got it reversed. It's off for 6 and 8. It's on for 5 and 7. So you should hear it cycling on and off. And then that's it for that one. All right. Next sample. Number 3. Grab the JW120G Cuban 1 sample, which we almost had. This guy, JW120G Cuban 1. All right. And unfortunately, it always sticks it way at the end here for no particular reason. What a jerk. Listen here, jerk. And we're going to also have that for 4 measures. Yep. Oh, my bad. Have it play for measures 9 and measure 11 only. Oh, I didn't read carefully enough. Look at me reading carefully. It's amazing. So, only like that. Connect it to a P delay and connect that pedal to centroid channel. Turn the pitch knob. Okay, so P delay is pitched delay or pitch changing delay or whatever you want to call it. All right, and then this guy goes to Chanel number 3. Now what we want to do is make sure that this guy is turned all the way down. And then that's it. That one's done. It should sound like this. Which is a weird sound, but hey, that is life. All right. Last but not least. All of this stuff. So, JW120D Cuban 1. Really? You don't hear any of this stuff? No! No audio is coming through. Okay. Okay. Simple quick fix. There. Done. That should fix it. Okay. Glad you told me. I mean, my students who are following can still do this without having to hear it. So that's not a major issue for them, but that's still annoying. Sorry about that. So from the beginning, it should sound like this. And then we have one more to do. So again, if you're just tuning in, this is actually for my 8th grade students who are struggling with this project. And this is kind of for their use, I guess. I don't know. Lastly, grab the JW120D Cuban 1 sample, which is the same thing we used over here. Okay, so we're going to need another one, though, because it doesn't work unless we have another one. So JW120D Cuban 1, there it is, that guy. And then we're going to hook it up. Well, I'll do another stream tonight, more like Reason production and stuff like that. Probably finish up the tune that I was working on last night. And I usually stream about 5 to 7 Central Time. I was doing it a little bit later, but I've kind of pushed it back by an hour. So 5 to 7, that's Central Time that I'm in. So we need an auto filter, and there's the auto filter. That guy. And then input, be careful that you don't hook it up to the sidechain input, which is a whole other thing. And if you're just tuning in for other stuff like Reason stuff, Audiotool, man, this is a fun program. This is really good to mess around with, and it is free. There's a lot of cool stuff that it can do. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make that 4 measures long. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. And then we got to do some settings on this guy, right? So attack 140 milliseconds. It's at 62. So you just double click and type in 140. And then the release should be 5, which that's easy enough to just turn it down. Okay, threshold minus 18.5 dB. Okay, or you can just type in minus 18.5, bam, done. Okay. Frequency 1782. 1782. And then resonance is 87%. Or you can just type it in, which is, to be honest, easier. And that should sound like this. There, that's it. And then the last part of this project is take your end of song marker, which is way over here. It's that little white tab, and drag it all the way to like measure 18, so that when it turns this into an audio file, it stops it right there, basically. So the whole thing. Gotta be careful. Forgot to leave that space there. And then that's it. That's the whole project. Okay. So again, this is a really, really specific thing. This is as much of a test of your ability to read and like follow directions and be really, really careful about stuff, as it is to just like know how to hook things up and use the effects and stuff. All right. It's like when in doubt, stop for a second and just look carefully. I mean, like, if I'm like, hey, put the snapping grid to this and that, and somebody's like, oh, I don't know what the snapping grid is, but it literally says it. So, like, stop for a second. Just really, really be careful with how you're reading, how you're really paying attention to the stuff that's happening here. It's all in here. Some stuff that's a little bit, inexplicable. Like, here's the thing. It's a big difference between I can't and I never have. That's a biggie, right? And we've never used this before. We in class at least, we've never used this device really. So like the fact that you can click here, okay, or you can click and drag and make different sized boxes, that's a new thing. Haven't done it before. Doesn't mean you can't. It just means you haven't. All right, and that's I think a supremely important distinction. All right, so this is front to back, top to bottom. This is the entire project. Yeah, that's basically it. So if you go back and review this is how we do it. At least the sound of my voice came through, and I kind of explained what was going on up here. So there's that. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or not. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the day. Anybody? Anybody? No. Okay. Pew. Okay. Well then, I guess that's about it. Yeah. And especially when there's a wiki available, right? It's not that people don't know how to use technology. It's that they haven't done it before, and they assume that means that they don't know what they're doing. But you shouldn't assume that, because it's not that hard when you stop for a second and you just read and kind of try to figure things out. And yeah, the first few times you do that, it's painful. And it might be slow, and you might be impatient, and you might be like, I want it done now. But, you know, tough noogies. It's going to take time. And it'll take less and less time the more you do it, the better you get at it. You know, so you just start to figure these things out, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, today's going to be a quick stream. If there's no other questions and stuff like that, I think I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it a day. And yeah, that's about it. So, take it easy.